If you think reading is a thing of school, then after school, you need it no more. I will tell you that is an unclear mindset, because there's literally nothing you want to do in this life that wouldn't involve you learning something new. So your ability to retain and recall information is important. Studies have shown that larger number of students memorize more than they understand what they are being taught or what they read. And if you ask them, do you understand what you're taught, or do you understand what you have read? They will say, yes, they understand. Only not to realize that it's delusional. Getting to exam hall, they find out that what they think they know, they did not really know it. And they ask them some questions. Why can't I remember? But I read it now. But I used to say it now. It is because you are forcing a square into a circle which doesn't fit in. You are memorizing it. So this video, I'm going to take you through steps at which you can retain information permanently and remember whatever it is that you have read. And remember it easily. So my name is Godwin Esakunle. I am a filmmaker, a director, editor, and a script writer. Before I ventured into filmmaking, I had experience in teaching during my National Youth Service Corps, and years after my National Youth Service Corps, I taught in elementary school for more than a year. So which means I have a deep understanding about letting you understand how to remember things that you have read. So let's get into the video. There are 4 steps into remembering things that you have read. And number 1 is finding a comfortable position. Find the most comfortable position for you when you want to read something. For some people, they like total silence. They don't want to be distracted. They don't even want pin to fall while they are reading, because it's total distraction to them. But for some people, they like it when their brain is active, when they engage in physical activities. For somebody like me, when I am reading, I don't like to sit in one place and, be reading. To me, it feels like my brain is slow. It feels like my brain doesn't process things so fast. So what I like doing is I like to engage in physical activities that keeps my brain energized, like that keeps my brain active, walking up and down, reading. That way, it makes me feel energetic and remember things quickly. And that might not work for you. You might be that person that needs to, sit in a particular position and read. Somebody that doesn't. Some people even like it when they listen to music while reading. It helps them to understand better. It's dependent on you. Another thing is connect the new knowledge to an existing knowledge. There's nothing new you want to learn that you don't have a fundamental knowledge about it. So if there is something new you are learning and you don't have a fundamental knowledge of it, you will definitely not understand it. You will most likely not even remember it again unless you force it into your head by memorizing it, by cramming it. So this is what I'm saying. Let's say you have never done biology at all. Then somebody is telling you that specimen A is going to be specimen B. So, that's just so much information. You feel confused. You don't have an existing knowledge, the fundamental knowledge. So in order for you to understand it better, you need to make it relatable to something you already know, so that you can have a deep understanding of what you are reading or the information that is being passed to you. Let's say you are to read economics, and there are different definitions of economics, but let me just give you one. They say that economics is the study of how people and society make use of the resources available to them to produce, distribute goods and services, and how that action impacts the economy. So the first thing you need to know is, what is the meaning of economy? So economy is just like a system whereby people produce, they sell what they have produced, they get money for what they have produced, people eat what they have produced, and the money that they are getting from what they have produced, they are using the money to pay people that work with them, removing their own gain, using the remaining of the money to produce another one and sell again. And that is what economy means. So now let's go back to the definition of economics. Now, they said economics is the study of how people. Now, wait. The study, what's the meaning of study? Study means trying to understand how people and society. What do we mean by society? Society is a group of people or people living in an area or an environment. So economics is trying to understand how people living in an environment make use of the things available to them, which is resources available to them, to produce something, sell that thing to people, and how people consume that thing that they have produced, and how that act is affecting the next production or the next cycle of production. That is a basic understanding. And because you engage in buying and selling every time, now have a rooted understanding of it other than what you used to have, which is just the definition. So if you just read the definition and you don't try to have a deep understanding of why are they defining this thing the way they define it, how is this thing affecting me, what do I know about this thing before, can I relate what I know about this thing before to what I am learning now? So it is essential that you connect what you are learning now to what you already know before, because there is something in psychology, they call it synaptic transmission, which means that this is the existing knowledge, what you have in your head about economics, right? Which is buying and selling. You know that you used to buy something, you used to sell something, and this is now the new information that you are trying to bring into it, which is economics. And so you now have to relate this, put this new information, put it on this. You have to put it on this. So when it rests on it, it means that you have a deep understanding. You have connected the new thing you have learned to the things you usually know or you already know. But if you cram it, it's not going to settle like this. What happens when you cram or when you don't try to connect it? It stays like this. It doesn't rest on it. And what happens like this? Even small breeze, little breeze can let this fall off your head. And that is why you see that when you go to exam hall, you think you know it, and when you go to exam hall, you just don't want to talk to anybody because you have crammed it, because you know that you have to be stiff, because you don't have to play too much, you don't have to talk to anyone, so that you get into the exam hall, you do whatever it is you want to do, then you get out immediately, because you know the implication that this thing can fall off your head any time. That is because you are not connecting the new knowledge into an existing one. So if you connect it, there is no way you will forget. On to the next one. The third step into remembering things that you have learned or that you have read is what they call active recall. If you are reading something, you don't have to read again, because if you keep reading, what happens eventually is without subconsciously you find yourself cramming it, and you realize that you don't even know what you have read. So what happens instead is that if you read something, read it like once or twice. Try to remember what you have read. Stay away from your book. Try to remember. Then if you realize that you cannot remember what you have read, go back to the book and say, okay, why am I not remembering? What exactly don't I understand in it? It means that you don't understand something. So what don't I understand in it? Try to understand that thing. Then after understanding it, read it one more time, stay away from the book, and try to remember. That is what they call active recall. So you don't have to read like 5 times before you now try to see if you know it. It will not help you. It will only lead you into cramming. So active recall is important. And the fourth one is what I call spaced repetition. What does it mean? If you know that you have an exam you're preparing for, or maybe a presentation you're preparing for in the next 3 months, it is best that you read today, stay away from it, and try to remember. After trying to remember today, in the next 1 week, try to remember again. And if you realize that you cannot remember, that means you don't have a deep understanding. You go back to it, you try and check it up again, and give it like a space of 1 week or 2 weeks, and see if you can still remember. Try in your head, try to recall, do active recall. Can you remember? If you cannot, go back to it again and check it out. So that is what is called spaced repetition. Repeat what you have learned. So that gives you long-term memory. It wouldn't allow you to forget on time, or possibly not forget at all. So this will be the end of this video, and if you put this into consideration and put them into practice, you will realize that learning something or reading something will become easy for you. Kindly subscribe to this channel if you are new here, like this video, share with friends so that it can help them to retain information and remember what they have read quickly. My name is Godwin Isakunle. See you in the next video. Bye.